What is going on, everyone? It is time to talk about something a little bit different. On this channel, we focus a lot on where you might want to move to and where you might not want to move to. And when I say move, I mean buy a home, rent a place, stay to Airbnb, whatever. The sad fact is, not everyone has those options, and even some people don't want those options. I'm of course talking about homeless people. For whatever reason, people end up living on the street. Now, the old myth was that it's just lazy people and addicts. Those are the only people that end up living under bridges or something. But the reality is a different story. Now, I'm not saying those aren't a couple big reasons, but there are 1,000,001 reasons why someone ends up on the streets. Loss of a job, unexpected illness, loss of their spouse and their income, mental illness, the list goes on. During the financial crisis of 2008, the US saw a major jump in the number of people living on the streets. Most estimates have the number of homeless in America around 560,000 people. That is about how many people live in Wyoming. We have an entire state worth of people that are homeless in this country. Now, I did see other estimates being around 2 to 3 million, but that's usually from some homeless support groups and stuff like that. But the United States Interagency Council on Homelessness has the number around 560-ish thousand. We'll assume they have the closest count. With so many homeless, I thought we would take a look at best places to be if this is the hand that life has dealt you. So sit back, be thankful you live indoors, and watch my top 10 best cities to be homeless. Number 10, New York City, New York. New York is one of the best cities you could be homeless in. Currently, there's 91,000 residents experience homelessness within the city, so you'll have a lot of company being homeless. In recent years, homelessness in New York City has reached the highest levels it's had since the Great Depression of the 1930s. You know it's never a good thing when someone follows up a stat with a Great Depression reference. Since the weather in New York City can get well below freezing in the winter, the city has the least amount of unsheltered homeless residents in the country, with only 5% during the winter, obviously. They have over 200 shelters. The reason it makes the best list with it getting so cold and all that, you'd think it wouldn't, it's the New York City Department of Homeless Services. This is one of the best and the biggest homeless service departments in the country. These people work hard and they deserve a lot of praise that I'm sure they don't get enough of. Bravo, you guys, you're doing great. Number 9, Salt Lake City, Utah. Salt Lake City is a city that is very big on helping the homeless. Actually, they help anyone when in need. The city has 14 different shelters, including housing assistants and volunteers that supply food to shelters throughout the city. Salt Lake City is the center of the Mormon universe. So yeah, the homeless get some help. As a matter of fact, the church has donated more than $50 million over the past decade to 9 groups that serve the homeless in the Salt Lake Valley. No word on if they make you join the church once you get help. Sure, they'd like you to, but I don't think it's required. Number 8, Fort Worth, Texas. Fort Worth is a great place to be homeless. Most cities have a hard time getting homeless residents back on their feet after they've ended up on the streets. Not Fort Worth, they're doing something right. In 2014, they had an all-time high homeless population of 2,400 residents. I know compared to other cities that's not that many, but we're talking per capita here. Now in 2019, the population is down to about 1,600 or 1,700. The city offers shelters as well as employment opportunities, which have shown to be aiding in the success. I wonder how many of the homeless in the Dallas-Fort Worth area became homeless after betting everything on the Cowboys winning a Super Bowl in the 2000s. Number 7, Las Vegas, Nevada. Wow, people hitting rock bottom and living on the street in Vegas? Nobody saw that one coming, did they? Las Vegas has a violent crime rate that is 62% higher than the national average. In many cities across the country, homeless residents fear for their safety every single day while they're on the streets. While the city does offer shelters, the city also offers homeless courtyards. Homeless courtyards is a courtyard where individuals can stay overnight or during the day, and it offers showers, porta potties, and security 24 hours a day. So it's just basically a fenced off area for the homeless. But what makes homeless courtyards different from shelters is they don't require breathalyzers before you're accepted into the shelter or into the courtyard. Could you imagine being the poor dude at a shelter that has to run the breathalyzer machine? You test like 200 people a day and you hear, I swear, I just used mouthwash 99 times. Number 6, Phoenix, Arizona. As of last year, in 2018, the homeless population jumped nearly 11% to 9,800 homeless residents in Phoenix. Since the city has such a homeless crisis, the city has stepped up its efforts to help. Phoenix offers a wide variety of options for individuals like resource centers, shelters, youth shelters, motel vouchers, and food banks. So, all the things you need to get back up on your feet. Phoenix is a good place to be an urban camper. It gets hot, but never too cold. If you see a homeless person in Phoenix, they always say don't give them money, but they don't say not to give them Gatorade and sunscreen. Maybe even some lotion or a skincare system. I don't know. Nothing like going to your first job interview in like 5 years. You walk in, your face is bright pink from the sun, and the interviewer goes, "Holy shit, do you need some moisturizer or aloe?" Number 5, Los Angeles, California. California has nearly 130,000 homeless residents. There's about 80,000 homeless residents in Los Angeles alone. Why not? If you're gonna be homeless, why not here? It has great weather, and since you're homeless, chances are you don't have to deal with the traffic or like getting car insurance quotes or anything like that. Los Angeles has the largest percentage of unsheltered individuals at a rate of about 75%. So they have more than enough urban campers. Although if these residents do decide to seek a shelter, the city offers a wide range of services like standard shelters, 7 animal shelters, food banks, and employment agencies. You name it, they got it. Just stay away from Skid Row. That place looks like a movie set for some apocalyptic movie or something. Number 4, San Francisco. If it isn't already obvious, the homeless people really shouldn't be living on the streets in the upper parts of this country. Homelessness isn't a great experience already, so why add snow into the experience? Doesn't make sense. San Francisco is in Northern California, but it's not too far north to where people are freezing on the streets. Homeless are everywhere in San Francisco. And stop typing. We don't want to read your comment about people crapping in the street. There was some article about it, and that just gets brought up anytime the Bay Area is mentioned. We've heard it before. Move on with your life. There are a lot of reasons they have so many urban campers. One of the reasons that sprung up in, let's say, the last decade or so is the rise of the tech industry. Tech companies, which are all over the Bay Area, have brought in high-paying jobs and priced about 60% of the population from prior to 2000 out of the city. This has also led to some workers actually living out of their car while maintaining a good job, like $60,000 a year. They can't afford to live in an apartment in San Francisco in some cases, with student loans and all that stuff. It's a nightmare. So they are considered homeless, even though they don't fall into the classic description of homeless. San Francisco has tons of shelters, places to get something to eat if you're homeless, a lot of support programs, and great weather, considering. Number 3, Seattle, Washington. Washington is one of the top 5 states with the most homeless in the country. Got about 22,000 homeless residents. Seattle alone has 12,000 of them. Being the city with the most homeless in the state, Seattle offers many resources for these individuals. Some just for men, some just for women, some for women and children, some for homeless youths, animal shelters, traditional housing, and more. The weather isn't great here, but they have a ton of resources, and the city doesn't really crack down on them that hard as most places do. So that's kind of nice for them. This is another place that has workers with serious student loan debt living out of their cars while having a decent job. And that sucks. The whole thought of a mortgage is so far away, they don't even dream about home ownership. I talked to a copyright lawyer in Seattle last year, actually probably about 6 months ago, and he said he lived in his car and worked at a law firm for 18 months out of law school. He's a lawyer, had so much debt he couldn't even do it. Anyway, that sucked. But Seattle's pretty good for homeless people. Number 2, Honolulu, Hawaii. Hawaii is a very popular place for everyone, including the homeless. Just last year, it was reported that there was an average of about 4,400 homeless residents in the city of Honolulu. The city offers many things for homeless individuals. Not only is the weather like perfect almost, but the city has 4 homeless shelters, a humane society, and a blood bank where people can actually donate some plasma for some extra cash. I don't know if it's donating if you're getting paid for it. That doesn't make sense. Anyway, Hawaii is an island paradise, so it isn't a bad place. Actually, it's a pretty good place to be homeless if you gotta be homeless. And before we get to number 1, don't forget there's a poll at the end of the video with questions that will help out in future videos. And number 1, San Diego, California. San Diego has a homeless population of around 8,500 urban campers. I can't believe there isn't more. There should be a ton more people living here. San Diego is the best place to be homeless since the weather's so nice year-round, and it rarely rains. The city offers many different kinds of services to help those less fortunate residents. Some services include food banks, shelters, male and female homes, as well as transition housing assistance. You could be homeless anywhere else in the world, and it would never be nearly as good as San Diego. Alright, so that's my list, the top 10 best places to be homeless in the United States. I know it's kind of a bummer subject, but it does happen. These people end up on the streets. You know, you hope the best for them. You hope they get out of it. You hope they get the help they need. But this is the best place to be homeless. Everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other.